guys, Adam Fennig here with Fennig Equipment. You're tuned into the Talking Shed. Hey, behind me you can see there's a Kinze 16-row 4905. This unit just came out of the factory roughly 3 weeks ago out there in Iowa at the Kinze plant. And here it is in our shop, and it's going to be seeing some cornfields here in the next couple weeks depending on our weather, but it's in here getting some final touches here before it hits the field, and that's what we're going to talk about today. You can see a Surefire tank here behind me. That's 750 gallon of carrying capacity. There's going to be a front mount tank on the tractor. We're equipping it with Martin ACCR parallel linkage floating row cleaners and some totally tubulars out the back. So let's go talk through this planter and see what we're doing here in the shop. This planter is pretty unique for several reasons. It's not a 16-row planter, it's 16 one-row planters. There's a computer on every row, everything is row by row. Hydraulic down pressure row by row, seed monitoring row by row, fertilizer row by row. It's a really interesting concept. Not only that, but on this particular unit, we'll see it here in the video soon, but this is a self-contained hydraulic system, so you don't need a high capacity tractor when it comes to hydraulics. You can run this high-tech planter with an older tractor that doesn't have the hydraulic flow, so that's pretty unique as well. So basically a self-contained hydraulic system. There's tanks under the CCS tanks, and then there's down pressure on the wings. Those two work together. As the CCS tanks empty, that weight is then taken off of the down pressure wing. So basically when the center is full and you're driving through the field, those down pressure cylinders are pushing out on the wings to distribute that weight, get them off the center tires and push them out to the wings. And then as that CCS tank empties out, the down pressure decreases because there's less weight there in the center. It's really cool how the scales and the down pressure cylinders work together to get the down pressure of the entire toolbar exactly where you want it. And actually, it'll be the same all the time. So if you're heavy, it'll push it out. As you get lighter, it'll release the tension on those wings. So some really cool things about this 4905. We're going to dig into this machine. So here's the hydraulic system. Of course, here's the reservoir, the cooler, and then it's a PTO driven pump. So it's pretty unique. You don't have to have a bunch of hydraulic plug-ins. In fact, there's only 2 ports being utilized for this entire planter, which is awesome because then we can tie into port number 3 for our hydraulic pump. So we move back here. This was a Surefire 750 gallon tank. That is for the 2x2 system. Underneath the tank is all of the plumbing. They've got their hydraulic centrifugal pump mounted there. That's a PWM controlled pump. And all this is pretty clean and easy to get to. One of the things I mentioned we're doing here in our shop is the Martin ACCR floating row cleaners. Of course, we put the air cylinder in there. So he's going to run that from his tractor cab using the Precision Planning Clean Sweep controller. This was installed at the factory. This is basically an in-furrow stainless steel system. We run a 1/4 inch air line back to this, and that's going to put fertilizer down right there. You can see it. This planter is equipped with the speed tubes. So of course high-speed planting is the big deal today, and this one is equipped with that as well. Another thing we're doing here at our shop is the totally tubulars out the back. Putting fertilizer on each side of the row. This is an extremely simple system, and we like it because there's no wheels, there's no blades, no bearings to wear out. It's simple yet reliable, and you don't have to worry with it playing with your row unit at all, and it's extremely cost effective. So this is how we typically tie in the TT300s. It comes with a hose barb Y, but I like to put orifices on each side of the Y. That way you're guaranteed to have an even flow and even split after the split. So we come in here with a 3/8 hose, come out with a 1/4 inch hose, and yeah, it's pretty handy the way that works. I mentioned that this is 16 one-row planters. Here's part of the reason why. There's a computer right here on every row. There's the speed tube, and this is part of the metering system. It gets pretty complicated in here, but it looks neat, and I'm sure Kinze's got this all dialed in. I also do like the Kinze blue airline hose that they're running for their fertilizer line. That looks pretty cool. They basically run wet kits up here, or a wet line up here, and it's got a plug-in and a meter on each row. So instead of red balls, it's actually metered and displayed up on the display for row by row control and row by row monitoring. There's a load cell for the scales underneath the CCS tank. As we step back here, pretty standard from back here. Of course, it's got the bulk tanks and then a standard wing, much like any planter. Back here is where we're going to have our fill. This fill right here is going to be for the big 750-gallon tank, and then this hose is running up to the tractor. We're not finished with that one yet. That'll be for the pop-up. So that's pretty much the gist of the planter. We're getting it dialed in, getting all the hoses ran. As you can see, these are cast units, so that's really nice, extremely heavy duty, heavier than the old style Kinze's. And then there's a lot of room here too. You know, if you look, there's a lot of room in between the rows to work on them, to get up here. Of course, obviously you don't have the boxes in the way because it's a center fill planter, but it's low profile, clean, easy to work on, and pretty sharp. So we'll do another video here once we're completely done with this thing, and keep you guys tuned in with how it's going. We're going to mount the compressor and the red balls and everything and the pump right here in front of this tank. So you'll see that in the next video. But that's what we're doing today. Thanks for tuning in.